Okay, welcome to our 8A Fiscal Year 2019 Awarded Contracts Review. You will receive a copy of this report when I send you the follow-up email, and I just want to walk through with you what this is and what you should be looking for. So let's start with column A. You notice all of the columns are color-coded. I actually deleted any of the activity that we did not need because I want you to use this as a quick snapshot. You can do whatever you want with this report. You can take the colors out, but I color-coded it just so that I can walk through these areas with you. So if you look at the first column, this is the award contract ID. If I wanted to look up an actual contract, I would get it from this column, column A. The total dollars obligated was the number that I talked to you about in billions, broken down the 8A contract, 8A contracts I should say specifically. So every award to an 8A firm for fiscal year 2019 is listed here. Okay, the total dollars obligated means that they were going to give, for instance, in row 3, $385,793 for that award. But they could actually award all the way up to the potential amount. Remember, I said even though there was $143 billion awarded in contracts, the potential, meaning a lot of the contracts could grow up to the $207 billion. It's the same way with every contract that you get. They could give you another 4 years, they could give you another year, but in this case, if row 3 that we're looking at, you can see that it started out as $385,793 obligated, but the potential is $1.8 million. And the period of performance would be, it started in 2018, which was really fiscal year 2019, because by 12/20 we were already in fiscal year 2019. Remember, the new fiscal year start October 1st. And this contract goes all the way to 9/20/23. Okay. Now let's look at which agency was involved. Remember what I said. The Big Daddy agency in this case would be Department of Health and Human Services, but the awarding agency under Health and Human Services is Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality. That is who is awarding the contract. That's where the federal buyer is. Okay? The recipient name would be the competitor, your competitor. That's who actually won the contract. So if you are in the same type of business, and when we see the job description, we'll know what type of contract it was, you should look up your competitor by their name and USA Spending. I will show you how to do that for those of you that don't know how, to see what does their profile look like, what codes are they using. Remember I mentioned if you're not using the same codes as your competitors, you're going to miss a lot of activity because your competitors that are winning, they know what codes the federal buyers are using, and you should be using the same ones. The recipient is in Texas. The primary place of performance was, in this case, Arlington, Texas. Okay? Now, if we were to go and look at the award description, and remember, I've highlighted everything I think you need to look at that is important for you. So when we get into class, I'll show you how to run your own reports based on your own industry and your own situation. But right now, I want you to look at the low-hanging fruit agencies that are already working with 8As. These are all 8A contract awards. So the job description, or the contract description in this case, is Learning Health Systems, K through 12, a training program. So this is probably for one of the agency schools, or maybe Health and Human Services is doing something for education. But that's the contract award description, okay? That's this green description. This is column, let me see, J. HIJKL, column L. Okay? And then product service codes. A lot of you don't even know what your product service codes are. You will learn that in class in the workshop, but they're very important. You need to have them in your SAM. This product service code is R499, okay, for that type of work, that type of job. But the NAICS code that they're using is 541990. Now, you can have different NAICS codes and use the same PSC codes. I will talk to you about that. But this PSC code 499, R499, the description is support services professional, okay, and other. But 541990 could be used for lots of other types of businesses. I realize that some of these are kind of generic, so there's like 541613, that could cover a lot of contracting opportunities, but you have to know how to use your PSC code to get to the right opportunity. You could share that 541613 code with lots of other industries, but the PSC code helps to identify more specifically what you are looking for with contracting opportunities, and it narrows it down to what the contracting officer is looking for. And we'll talk a lot more about PSC codes in the workshop. The NAICS code for 541990 is all other professional services. You see how broad that is? Some of you use this code, and you should be using it, but you never know when that code is going to come up on a contract. But once you learn how to do your research, you learn the value of understanding your codes and what they mean. Of course, this is an 8A sole source. Not all of these are 8A sole sources. Some of them are 8A competitive. Some of them are 8A hub zone, just like I told you. Now, I love this column. This is the number of offers received. This is where you're going to learn who your competitors are and how many competitors you have. Do you see how few competitors most of you will have? If you have, I would say, 5 or more competitors when you're bidding on a job, that's a lot. You see this number down here, this is 8 for this one contract. That was a competitive opportunity, but that's unusual. Most people don't understand that in federal, you're not going to have hundreds and thousands of competitors. Your chances for winning are closer and easier than you think. And when you find your codes on here and clean everything off, leave everything off of here, or take everything off that has nothing to do with you and your industry is what I want to say. So look for your codes, organize it by your codes, and see which agencies are working with your codes. So if one of your codes is this 541990, organize by your codes. Pick out your codes and delete everything else from this report or hide it. And then you can see so many things to give you a quick overview. Now let's go back over here to the awarding agencies. If you look at the awarding agencies, you know Health and Human Services is friendly to 8As. They obviously like 8As. And you'll see them on here throughout this report. This report has 30,000+ lines. Now, when you look at your own NAICS code, you will take a lot of it off. You might only have 1,000 lines, maybe 800. You know, some of you won't have that many at all because you won't see a lot of your opportunity, but hopefully most of you will. But these are all the agencies. Look at this agency, Agency for International Development. They love 8As. They do a lot with 8As. What other agencies are down here? You have, look at all of these opportunities for Agency for International Development. Let's look at some more. Agricultural Research Services, that's USDA, Department of Agriculture. They love 8As too. As a matter of fact, they brag about the work that they do with 8As. What else? Let's go down here. This report is full of federal buying agencies that you should be looking at to see if they're buying what you're selling. This is your low-hanging fruit. So then when we get to the workshop, you could say, okay, Michelle, I saw some opportunities on here for my company. How can I dig into that further? And that's what we'll do in the workshop. But look at this, animal and plant health inspection. The Department of Agriculture and Health and Human Services, you will see them on this report a lot. But what you want to pay attention to is the sub-agencies under the Big Daddy agencies. Remember that. Okay, and then you're going to look at their forecast reports. You're going to look at everything that's going on with that agency so that you can be ahead of the game and you can start talking to these contracting officers to see, to introduce yourself, send them a capability statement, but mostly to see what kind of sources thoughts are they putting out there. Because I guarantee you, if you're seeing them on this report, they're putting the sources thoughts out there. They may not be 8A at first, but remember, they need to see that 8As are interested. Bureau of Fiscal Services. So do you even know that the Department of Treasury has an agency, a sub-agency like that? Most of you probably don't. But what if they are doing something in your arena, in your industry? What if they're buying a lot of things from companies like yours? What else? Let's go down here to some other ones. Centers for Disease Control, Health and Human Services again. As you can see, HHS is big with 8A. And they're doing a lot of sole sources too, which is wonderful. What else? And I'll talk to you a little bit more about these things in detail. Defense Information Systems. I love that agency. They love 8As and they love small businesses. That's through the Department of Defense. Most of you may not even realize that they have an IT department that all they do is buy things. And they do a lot of, well, it's kind of obvious, but they do a lot of IT stuff. They hire a lot of IT people in that agency, Defense Information Systems. They're called DISA. And then what else? I'm just going to look at a few more. I just passed Defense Logistics Services, Defense Media, DMA. Nobody ever really talks about them. Look and see what they buy, if they have something for you. Defense Logistics Agency. Now, I love that agency. I've won a lot with them because they have a lot of activity, not just for 8A, but for small businesses, period. They love small businesses, too. Are they real, communicative and explaining how things work? It's a big agency, so, I know Defense Logistics pretty well now, so if someone were interested in that agency, I could definitely talk to you about that agency. But it's a great agency to work with. Departmental offices, that is under the Department of Interior. How do I know that? Some of them I just know off the top of my head, but their big daddy parent is Department of Interior, DOI. You probably hear a lot about DOI. But you may not hear anything about departmental offices. But they are the ones doing the buying in this case. DOI, by the way, loves small businesses as well, Department of Interior. They do a lot with small businesses. I know a lot of clients, even before they started working with us, they had contracts with DOI. What else? Department of Air Force, they're doing 8A. You have, and I'm not even halfway through this report. So what you guys need to do is get this report, go ahead and organize it by your NACE code, and then you can find your product service codes. You have your NACE codes. You can see the types of jobs in column M, N, and O, and then P also, because you can have the description of the actual job through column H. There's a lot of information here. Through column L will give you the description of the job, the contract, but column H will tell you your competitor, and you could look them up. Now, I did get rid of a lot of information for your competitor, but the name of your competitor as it is already in the system, just as you see it here. Okay, so this is a wonderful report. You need to write these things down, which agencies you see that you could work with, and then I'm going to show you how to find opportunities from these agencies that will be coming out under 8A and for small business. You should not just be looking at 8A. You cannot live off just 8A in the beginning. You need small business opportunities as well so that you will have an abundance of opportunities that you're working on. That's how you start winning. You can't just bid on one and wait for the other one to come 6 months down the road. You will waste a lot of time that way. So you will have not only this video, you will also have this report. So do your homework after the holidays. You can write to me if you have questions before our training on the 15th. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have, but you need to do your homework. Your due diligence and your research in the beginning is the key to your success. That's one of the major keys to your success. Okay? And that's it. So write to me if you have questions, and or write it down so that when you get to class, we'll be able to discuss specifics regarding your industry and your company.